Hello there, this is Diesel, and I'm playing the Reddit League again. It's the very last week of our season in the Division 4, and we are playing Canada this time. It's called a balanced Canada, but in fact it is extremely rural. I've practiced it a few times, and I think I've never even had one urban round in my whole practice. What I did practice though is I learned the number plates and I learned the highway shields and stuff like that. And that number plate told me that we are probably in Ontario, because Ontario is one of the few provinces that has number plates in the front of a car. And other than that, it's a very plain number plate that I think it's like blue on white or something like that. It's a plate that doesn't show you much. So that's one of the things that I studied to be able to play well in Canada, even though honestly there's no reason to really practice for this very much, because I'm already secure at the top of the table, and my opponent Laban Grab also, I think he didn't really have anything to fight for either, because he is in the middle of the table and cannot reach the promotion playoffs, and he also can't fall to the relegation playoffs anymore. I keep looking at these number plates. Again, this is an Ontario number plate. I'm also looking at this kilometer marker, 374. So that's how deep into the middle of nowhere we are here. So it's a relatively large highway. Based on the number plates, it could also be BC. But of course, in BC you have all of those mountains. And because it is relatively flat, I decided must be Ontario. Again, looking at the plates as if we had all the time in the world. And I think I didn't actually need to do that at all, because there's some other signs of Ontario coming up relatively soon now. And better indications of Ontario at that, because of course, Ontario cars can also travel to different provinces. So we are going a little bit south of east for a very long time. And that's basically one of the things that I'm keeping in mind here. Now there's a couple of signs coming up in front. Yes, right there. This one, for example, this maximum speed limit sign with the black bar at the bottom, that's a Ontario thing, and I think it's only in Ontario. And of course, here we've got a highway shield, highway number 17 in Ontario again. That crown is sort of gives away the province. So I'm looking along the highway number 17. I'm remembering that I've been going to a little bit south of east for a very long time, relatively long straight stretch of road. So looking for such a stretch. I also have this road that's going off to the left when I go northwest, and then a curve towards the north coming up. And with that information, I am settling here. Right, we've got we have already passed that road that goes off to the left. I'm going along this curve and seeing that it's actually going quite far, bending quite far, so I'm happy. And won't you believe it? I was only 1 meter away, so that was a lucky pinpoint, obviously, that involved a bit of compass work, obviously, but it also involved a lot of luck. So there we go. I think a lot of players lost some points in this round because, it's a long road. Maybe you don't even find that number 17 sign, so what are you gonna do about that? Now here, this is round number 2. I think it's one of the easier ones. At least if you go north or northwest from the very beginning. Again, I'm looking around. I'm looking at the number plates as well. Here we are in Nova Scotia, and they have these number plates with there's a boat, I think, in the middle of the number plate. And sometimes you can see it as a blue dot or something like that. But actually, I think it doesn't really show in any of the number plates that I'm looking at here. Fortress de Louisbourg. So yeah, this is one of the bilingual provinces. Anyway, it has a very seafood delight. Yeah, it has a very maritime feel. So it's quite clearly one of the eastern provinces. Other than Nova Scotia, it could of course also be New Brunswick. Newfoundland somehow feels a little different. It's a little more barren and it just looks colder. Now, I think that in this round exactly there's a firehouse coming up, Mira Road. That's the small village that we're in. But luckily I do not just go ahead and look for it on the map, but I decide to go a little bit further north along that road. And look at that. What a luxury. What a sign that is. It has like 2 different highway numbers and it points to Sydney and Glace Bay and all of these places. Of course, I recognize the Nova Scotia highway shields now. At first I look in the wrong location, but then I find Sydney here and also the 125. Now I think I kind of want to see what direction the highway 125 is taking here. I realize it's going to the northeast, so I cannot be here, but I decide that it would be over there probably. And finally I find Mira Road, the town that where we found the fire department. And now I'm going into the pinpointing, and that's a bit painful because I'm gonna take a long time for it, have a full minute, and I'm still gonna fail. I think I'm even gonna do some click counting here. But yeah, there's no real reason to do it. We've got this one road to our left here. That's the Ormond Crescent that you can see on the map there. I sort of decide to count clicks up to that little junction and then to go south or southeast to the next junction that I could see on the map. But I end up not actually having the time for that. And I feel like just because it took such a long time to get to the north, I get the impression that we're quite far away from that Ormond Crescent. So I'm leaving it down there in the south when in fact it's a good 128 meters further north, and I'm losing a point here, which is a bit too... it's a bit disappointing really, but it's not the worst that can happen. Would have liked to have another 5k here, but it's alright. At least I got super lucky with the first 5k, right? That's
an unexpected pinpoint, obviously. Okay, now location number 4. I think this is the one that I really don't play too well. Yeah, I'm looking at all of these signs. We are actually relatively close to a village here and didn't need to inspect all of those small signs and also number plates very closely. I think I should just have moved a little more quickly until I found a really solid sign, and then looked for the town. It is Ontario again, and you can see again we have like these number plates in the front. So I'm thinking Ontario. However, yeah, I mean these number plates, they can help very much if you are in a road on a road, I mean, in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing but, one pickup truck with a number plate, and that can tell you the province that you're in, and that gives you 2,000-3,000 points, and that's great, right? But if you can actually find good road signs, then that's much better. And here we have Bracebridge, for example. Bracebridge, Ontario, it says. Bracebridge is a pretty big town, and we could have just looked for that. But instead I'm, looking at all of these canoe signs and stuff like that, which is just a waste of time. Yes, here it says Dorset Lions Club. Dorset is the small village that we're actually coming up on. So we should have just looked for Bracebridge and then for Dorset on the map. Or we could have continued in the direction that we're going, because as I found out later, there's actually a really good junction coming up with some highway numbers and some long distance indication to Huntsville, I think, which is a really larger town in this area. Here it says Dorset again. So, if I had gone a little bit further around the bend that is coming up now, that would have been a better strategy as well. But I think right about now I just decide to look for Dorset on the map. I have a sense of where this is. In the sort of central Ontario, you have these lakes with some tourism and stuff like that. Some, canoeing, I guess. And this location looks a little bit like that. So in the end, I end up guessing in about the right location. But I'm still losing quite a few points here. You can see Bracebridge there in the middle of the road, in the middle of the map, I mean. But I think by now I just forgot about Bracebridge and I'm looking for Dorset, which, I don't know. Sometimes it's difficult to keep two different names in your head. Especially since there were so many signs for Dorset and only that one sign for Bracebridge. And I also didn't know that it was a big town, so yeah, I'm looking around. I do believe that it is in central Ontario. However, I kind of have a look around here as well, just to not get too far away. But in the end, I just sort of guess in that area where I think we might be hedging a little bit towards the east here, but yeah, we find ourselves there. Now you can see Dorset on the map. I think this was a location where not too many people pinpointed it. Well, yeah, we have, that's Xander, I think. But not too many people have found it. I think that some people have found Bracebridge or some other places which were closer than the place that I went for. But yeah, that was number 3. Actually also pinpointable with a different strategy, but yeah, not the way I played it, certainly. And here we are, like, I think this is the most urban location that I've seen in my practice or anything like that of this map, A Balanced Canada. We got sort of this road sign towards the center of Thunder Bay, and we get the number 11 and number 17 highways. Thunder Bay, of course, is here in Western Ontario. I'm looking for the number 17. And then, yeah, I'm sort of trying to orient myself a little bit. I'm seeing that the highway here goes to the northeast. But then so I think at first we might be up there at John Street. But I decide to look for a street name on that street that goes into the center of Thunder Bay. It says Red River, and Red River Road is up there. So with that, yeah, it's an easy 5K. I don't think that many people actually missed this one. Overall, our locations in Division 4 were all, in all weeks, we often had the easiest seed of all. And that was always fun to play because, yeah, it's nice to get some 5Ks basically, and also to get some perfect games, some 25Ks as I did and some other players in Division 4 also did. So, for example, in Poland and Jordan and Australia, etc., I think we had the easiest seed of all divisions, and that was a lot of fun to play. The very last one is, I think, just as easy. We have some French here, and right, we have we have a highway number here as well. So this is sort of the Quebec 170. I've played Quebec quite a bit in the Map Battle League because I think Verdoc made me play his Fleuve Saint Laurent map that included quite a lot of Quebec. So with that, with that practice under my belt, I had an idea where the 170 would be. And right, I think here it says Secteur Baie Eternité. And I find Rivière Eternité, which turns out to be exactly the town that we're looking for in that curve. So that was another easy one, and I am happy to, even though it wasn't important, even though there was nothing riding on it in terms of promotion or relegation for either me or my opponent, I'm happy to keep my clean vest, so to say, without any losses during this season of the Reddit League, and also to play a relatively strong game generally with I think 3 5Ks, could have been 4, and a decently high score. So I was quite happy with this performance, and I'm glad to be signing off on this season with a good game. My opponent, when I was recording this, my opponent hadn't played, but I think he ended up with something around 20k, so I did get the win here. And yeah, I'm happy to be promoted to Division 3, and I'll be playing this in the next season of the Reddit League.